This video describes how to print labels in PypeServer. It shows you how to create label templates using NiceLabel Pro, either at the kiosk or at a remote location, another computer on your LAN, and then saving them down to a templates folder where PypeServer will pick them up and allow you to assign these templates to parts. And then at the machine, the operators can print those labels. The first thing we'll cover is how to create a template in NiceLabel. And we'll also cover how to link fields in NiceLabel to fields that are in PypeServer so that when operators print a label, it's unique and has the data that pertains to a specific part. NiceLabel comes pre-installed on the PypeServer kiosk. You can also install NiceLabel anywhere on your LAN with a site license that's provided by PypeServer. You'll find the NiceLabel application install and the NiceLabel license on the file share in PypeServer staging. The templates that you create with NiceLabel need to be saved at this share. This is on the PypeServer kiosk, and it should be accessible across your entire LAN. You can start NiceLabel Pro from the Start menu, or within PypeServer you can start it by clicking on these print label icons here, and in Enterprise you can see them on each tab as well, and on the machine tab as well. So now I'll click on one of these print label buttons, and that brings up this dialog. What I have here is the ability to print. I only had one item selected, so it shows that one item, and I could print right here. And this is the default label that's showing. I see here a list of label templates that I can use. One I'm going to look at in a bit is the training label video that I haven't really done anything on yet. And if I printed, this would print. Okay, but what we're going to focus on right now is the templates, just editing a template and working with a template. Okay, so I can open a template right from here. I can open this training video from here, or I can also just go to that location in the folder system and open it with NiceLabel. In this case, I'm just going to go ahead and edit this. Okay, hit edit, it's bringing up NiceLabel. Now this form that we have here, this template, already is connected to the PypeServer database. Here we can see it's been connected to the database, it's connected to the printer params view, and these are all the parameters that we provide to be used on the labels. And if you see things or have things that you want that you don't see in here, just contact us and we'll add it into the view. You'll note that this came already as a 3x3, which is the label size we're printing. All of this comes set up. We try our best to get you something fully set up that's pre-connected so that you don't really need to do all this connection each time. You just open up the original base label that you have and save it as something else and then use it again. Then your connections are always there. There is another video on how to create this connection from scratch, and it's a little bit complex, and if you already have one that's already connected for you, just make a copy of it and do kind of like what I'm doing right here. Now I'm not going to go too much into this system on how to use it. You can watch the help videos, the training videos on how this whole system works, how you can drag these fields down and build your own templates. But I will show you basically how to use this data. Okay, so I can take a text item, put it here, double click on it, and enter in, say, name, because I'm going to put the name field right behind it. Okay, so I go like that, and now I can just go down here and find the name field and just drag it up and drop it behind it. And I can open up settings here and change how many characters are allowed and the font and everything else. Okay, one other way to do it is just a little bit easier in some sense. You can create a text box and go ahead and edit this. This is just for doing multiple entries like customer, job. Okay, so I might do something like that. You can make a whole row of them if you wanted, and then I can just drag in information behind it like this as well. I can make that smaller if I need. You can also just drag in fields and then attach them later, so like a barcode. Here we want to put a barcode, and we can go in here and pick a lot of information about the type of barcode. Right now it's fixed data, meaning whatever you enter, but we don't want that. We want to pick our barcode field. There it is. Okay. And then I can go to the barcode tab and pick the type of barcode that I want. So we have a lot of interest these days in QR barcodes, so we can make this a QR type. Okay. So that's about all I'm going to do for that. And that came out a little bit small, but you can even just stretch it like that. Okay, I'm going to add one more field. That's the part ID. I just want that so I can always see the separate part that I'm working with. If you're new to PypeServer, part ID is a unique number inside of PypeServer. There'll never be two part IDs with the same number. Okay, so that's all set up now. Okay, and now I can go over to the file and test it. Okay, so first place I'm going to go here to the printer params view, and that shows me all the items in the database that I can mess around with. I'm going to deselect them all and try and find one or two that have some data in them that would be interesting. I'll pick 14, and here you can see this is part ID is number 9. I'll pick number 8 as well. And here you can see that the data is the same in those two. Maybe 11 will be a little different. I don't know. So I can go back and forth through these. I can just scroll through them down here. Somewhat handy. I'm just going to print one right now. And just go ahead and I can hit print right from here. And it'll print this one item. Okay. Make sure you don't have them all selected or it'll just start printing, thousands of them if you have thousands in your database. So once you've printed, you're going to find that this might not be 2 and 8. The printer settings kind of come out of the box like this. What this is the speed that the feed goes through past the ribbon, that your label comes out. And this is the darkness. And the slower this goes and the darker this is, the better the quality. And so I really recommend that you try a few. You'll find that these settings are going to make a much nicer label than just a thing flying by doing barely getting any ink on it. Okay, so this is where you just test it to figure out what you want. I'm going to talk about how we make those print settings show up for this label next. So going back from my template, I'm now going to set the print properties for this label. There's two ways I can do this. One is I can tie the print properties directly to this label. So if you have different labels of different types and you want them to have different levels of control over how you print them, you can lock them directly to the label, or you could just use the defaults that are for the printer. So I clicked on that button there. And here it says always use the default printer, that's the printer, and it says you use the default printer settings from the printer driver. Great, we're done. And once you get your printer driver set up right with the right speed and the right everything, you're good, it's going to come out fine. But if you want, you may want to control this within each label. So I unclick that, and here I can say use custom printers saved in the label. And now I can go in and set them here as if I were just setting printer properties for the printer itself. But now I'm just containing them in the label. So here I can specify the different sizes of the label, and I can go to print options, and here is where I would go. Let's say, okay, let's go slower, let's go faster, let's print darker, and I could save this. Okay. And now that is going to be saved by leaving this way. It's going to be saved in the label. So no matter what you set on the printer, the label is going to override that. So in most cases, it makes a lot of sense, since we do things that are pretty controlled, to just go ahead and do that. You're going to have one printer, set up your printer right with the printer properties that you'll find just for the printer that were the very same things we were just looking at. Get it set up once and you're good. Okay. So I say OK. And now, I really don't want to save this as my training video or my sample video, because that was my original one that I want to use to save over and over. So what I'll do is I'll just go over and I'll save this as. And again, I want to save it. This will say PypeServer here, but all the rest will say templates. This is where you want to save it. Okay, so I want to save it into here. Okay, and here's all my different labels. This is the same place I would come if I want to just edit directly, not going through PypeServer for that matter. So I'll just call this first template. No, it's not the first. I'll save it. Okay, and now I'll just quit out of here. Okay, so it comes back here, and now we'll see somewhere in here we should see the first template. There it is, everything I just set up. Okay, and I'm pretty much good to go from a setup point of view. Now I can assign that to different label to the different pipe items. So I'm going to quit out of here right now. And now if I look, I don't even see label template here. So I'll go to column chooser. I just right clicked on anything here. And these are all alphabetical, so there's label printer, and I can put template, put it wherever I want. Give myself a little space to work with. I gotta hit refresh, I think. There we go. I hit refresh and I see first template. Okay, so I can assign these items to have different templates. And I might do that in the office. Okay, so where I'm planning, I know what template I want. Some customers just have one template only. Others have them per job. They'd have a different logo for a job or something like that. So the nice thing is you can do this without having to bother the operators. Okay, so now I remembered on that template I needed to make one more change. I wanted to add one more field that's important for the operators. So I just start NiceLabel separate from PypeServer altogether, and it remembers the recent files that I created, so I picked file template. I want to add in this order on pipe field right here. Okay, this tells me what order this label is on the pipe. This is just for the operators to know which label will go on which pipe. Hit save, and that goes right back to the same location. There's no real update that needs to go on with PypeServer. Okay, so now let's see how this affects the operator when they go to actually cut the parts. Here they have 5 parts on a pipe. They could be calling print labels from the pipes tab or from the machine after they've loaded it. They hit print label. It brings up all 5 parts. They're in order. They can't be reordered. They're going to be printed out of the label printer in the order that they're going to be cut. Okay, here's the label templates that have been assigned to them. You can see different label templates. Notice that this has the number on the cut order. Notice that these are not rendering what's really showing here. This is just a thumbnail of the template itself. So this isn't the true data. They'll be different for each part. So the user would just hit print, and it'll print these. Now, if these aren't selected, the user can go in and select them, or if they're blank. If they were all blank, they could just go ahead and say what's the default and never have to set any of them. They could pick this once, and some people might be doing that. They may just say, we're going to do the first template. That's all we're ever going to use. You never assign anything, and they just go ahead and print, and if it's blank, it's going to use that.